Blessings, everybody. Blessings, blessings, and blessing. Glad to see each and every one of you with me tonight. I'm excited. Please share with your family and friends. I'm just excited to be here. And I got my Bluetooth on, so I'm just getting an echo. There you go. So I'm excited tonight on share with your family on tonight. It is Invested in Milwaukee show, and y'all start chiming in and saying hello, so I know who all with me. Tell me where you from, and we're gonna begin to start this this ride in a second, and I just really want to address some things and share some things, and this show here is about Milwaukee. This show is about not just Milwaukee, but it's happening all over the country right now, and we really want to address something. And I know I was supposed to have a guest on tonight, but I really has to stay focused locally, because right now local races is very important. In Milwaukee, we have a very important local race coming up in 5 months, and so I'm not going to get into anything but what pertains to the city of Milwaukee, and not just Milwaukee, but Vested in Milwaukee is a show about Milwaukee, and we're going to touch on some things in Milwaukee, and I want you to share with your families and your friends. Let them know that Dr. David D. Keeg is on live tonight, and we're going to talk about some things that I really believe that we're not paying attention to. And those of us that are believers, I want to share some things with us that God is going to, I believe that God is going to address with us as strong believers, and what we're supposed to do. And so I want to start off again. I want to start off by asking a simple question that I ask all the time when I meet with someone and we're talking politics, because a lot of us doesn't realize or understand that, excuse me, if you are a believer, if you say that you're a follower of Jesus Christ, if you say you love God, if you go into a worship center and says, give honor to God who's the head of my life, and if you claim to be born again, saved, some people say sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost, then I challenge you tonight because of the fact that Christ didn't come for you to just have a religion, but Christ came that you can be his diplomat official representing the government of heaven here on earth. And I'm just tagging a couple of people and then I'm going to get started on this because I want you to see what's going on in the city of Milwaukee from a kingdom perspective and how we are supposed to really be in charge and really do some things that is supposed to be technically in charge. And there's some things that you and I are supposed to do. So tonight we're gonna do this, and we're gonna talk politics, but we're gonna talk it from a kingdom perspective. We're not gonna just talk it, and we're not just gonna say things just to be saying them, but we're gonna say them in a way where we can break it down. And for those that are there, I got my word with me. I got the Constitution with me. This is the Constitution of the Kingdom of Heaven, and it is the Word of God for those of us that are citizens in the Kingdom of God. And this is what we're supposed to govern ourselves by. This is what we're supposed to conduct ourselves and how we treat not only ourselves, but how we treat others. And so we're going to get into the Constitution, which is the Word of God. And then we're going to govern ourselves tonight according to this. Is that all right? And the thing that I'm finding out is that a lot of times, you know, when we're dealing with certain things, we allow people to get in office. We allow people to get in office that that never really read the Constitution, that never really understood the Constitution, that never really cannot even tell you about the Constitution. And the reason you will know that is because the way they're making laws. They're not making laws according to the Constitution to protect your rights, but they're making laws against the Constitution and against your rights as an individual. So we're gonna share a couple of things, and then we're gonna go in. I'm about to go in with you guys and show you why Milwaukee is in the mess that it's in, and show you why a couple of areas in our own personal lives are in the condition that it's in, and we have to make a decision on what we want in the next 4 years. And what we also finding out and what we also realizing is that we have to become the men and women of God that God is calling us to become, and that we will rise up and into where God is calling us to rise up into. Well, so when you understand who you are, first of all, you got to know who you are, because if you don't know who you are, then you're not going to be able to stand up for what's right. And so religiously, we was trained, some of us religiously, that the people of God, the church, supposed to stay out of politics. We was lied to about there's a separation between church and state, which again, if you read the Constitution, you would know that there's no such thing as separation between church and state. That the only thing in the Constitution says is that this country cannot become a one religion country. In other words, we cannot force one religion on everybody. And so what they have done is they lied to the church, and they told the church there's separation between church and state. And then they want to use the church when it's election time to come into the church and get into the Holy of Holies, get to the holy place, and stand in the pulpit, not serving the God that you serve, and then talking to you to tell you to vote for them, which God never told us to do. any of those things. God told us to govern. God told us to govern the earth and to control the world system. And so when we look at it, and let's go there, because many church folks was told that the church, in the church, that the world belongs to the devil. And so we're going to clear that lie up right now. The world doesn't belong to the devil. The world does not control anything. The world, the devil don't own the world. All right. And so let's go into the Constitution and see for ourselves. And then I'll begin to share some other things with you. But if you go over to Luke chapter 4. Now this is so don't think this just is a Bible class. This is a legislative meeting that we're having. This is political right now. And don't close your ears to what God is really trying to tell us, what God really wants us to say, because many of us, we have prayer meetings, we have prayer walks, we have prayer everything, trying to ask God to fix something that he gave you and I the ability to fix. So let's take a look at it from the eyes of God. Let's and again, share it with your friends, share it with everybody, and let's get some clarity on what God is saying to us, because of the fact that a lot of us are misled, and this is why we have the mess that we have. So let's look at Luke 4 for a minute, and I want you to see this in Luke chapter 4. In Luke chapter 4, verse 5, it says, and I'm gonna read it out of the Amplified version, or now I read it out of King James, because a lot of y'all do King James, so I'm gonna read it out of King James. It says, and the devil, taking him up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment's time. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. Now, you have the earth and you have the world. The earth and the world. Two different things. The earth is the planet. The world is the system. Some of y'all in your churches, you was taught the 7 mountains or the 7 sectors. So the devil showed Jesus the all 7 mountains or the 7 sectors and everything that comes inside of the 7 sectors, and says, listen, if you bow down and worship me, I'll give you this, because this was delivered to me. And who delivered it to him? Adam. Stay with me now, because I want to show you something. Adam delivered it to Satan. It was never Satan's, and it's never Satan's. And again, I say, it was never Satan. So if it was never Satan, then why do he have it? Well, he have it because of the fact you didn't realize that it was you who God wanted to have authority over the 7 sectors or 7 mountains. So let's look at the 7 mountains. You have government, education, arts and entertainment, media, right? Business, family, and religion. Those 7 mountains. And when you look at every one of those, the devil controls government, education, business, arts and entertainment, media, family, right? And business. He has control of each and every one of those things, which you, as people of God, were supposed to be in control of and govern by the Spirit of God, by the wisdom of God, and govern these areas so that life would be better for everybody, not just a group of people. And if you look in the Bible, all the time, somewhere God had one of his man or even his woman in government to save a people. And so first of all, it's not the devil's. We delivered it to the devil. So let me ask this question. Why do you think God himself gave the children of Israel law before he gave them land? Why do you think he gave them law before he gave them land? He gave them law before he gave them land because he had to change their culture. See, they was in a place which was called Egypt, where they worship many gods, all kind of gods. And so he had to change that culture so they would only worship one God, which was him. And so he gave them law before he gave them land. Why did I'm saying that? Whoever controls the law controls culture. Whoever controls the law, whoever makes the law, are changing the culture. And we just saw a law being made that a culture change is about to happen in the county of Milwaukee, where our elected officials, the ones you sent to represent you, went into the office, and what they ended up doing was they made a law to make Milwaukee County a sanctuary for transgender and non-binary person. And so what they have done and opened their mouth and said, this is step one. Step one is done. And so what they're saying is, if Madison make a law that no doctor can do any sex change procedure, or no doctor can give your children any pills to help change their gender, then if they do that, they'll go to jail. Milwaukee County saying, no, we're a sanctuary, and if they make a law like that, we're going to ask the sheriff, do not put that on your priority list. Put it at the lowest part of your priority. So what they're saying is, now we really finna come and get your children, because now in the school, they're going to be able to give your child a pill and you won't know nothing about it. They're going to be able to convince your children that they might be in the wrong body. And you won't be able to do anything about it. See, because the moment they change the law, they're now starting to change the culture. And so when we look at our lives here in Milwaukee, most people says this. Now watch this. We're in spiritual warfare. We have pastors that says this is spiritual warfare in their pulpit. And what do they do when they tell you it's spiritual warfare in the pulpit? They send you out to vote for the enemy of the warfare. Now, I'm not trying to say that an individual is the enemy, but the individual is the vehicle that the enemy are using to get his agenda pushed. And so what they do is we have allowed them to tell us any and everything. We allowed them to do things and we say nothing. We allow them to make decisions on our lives. All right. So let's look at politics for a minute. An alderman, a mayor, county executive, county supervisor, their job is to represent you as an individual. Their job is to make sure your constitutional rights are not stepped on. They are your employee. They are your servants. You don't serve them. They're supposed to serve you. And so because they know that we don't know what they're supposed to do, they get away with doing any and everything. And so when we look at all the immorality that is going on right now, and they're representing us, but they're saying that this is something that you want. And so as the people of God, as those that have morals, those there are people that are atheists that don't even believe in God but have great morals. And I know they don't even agree with some of the stuff that is going on. So let's take a look for a moment. Did you send your representative to the school board to make sure that your children don't get the best education? Did you send them to the school board and pay all your taxpaying dollars that the superintendent get a raise? Now he's about over $300,000, but there's no air conditioner in the schools. That they had to close school because there's no air conditioner, but this man is being paid over $300,000. Your taxpayer dollar is giving a man a raise to make sure that your children fail, that your children doesn't get the proper education, that your children don't even look like they have a future, that your children, they make sure that they can't read or write or do math. They make sure that your children can't even sign their name. To sign their name for a check, they got to print their name because they was not taught how to write their name. They wasn't taught how to read a ruler. They wasn't taught how to even have a nice debate without having to picking up a gun or something. We used to have debate class. We used to have the chess club. We used to have the math class. The math club, where we used to compete against other schools in math. I used to love that because I was on the math team, and we would challenge people in math. And in the debate club, we would argue over things and express our feelings or our opinions on something. But our kids doesn't have that. We used to have home economics, and our kids doesn't have that. We used to have music class, and we used to walk home with our instruments. Our children don't have that, but they give this man a raise. And those people that's on the school board, that's been on the school board, you voted for, so they're representing you, and what they're saying is, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. Every elected official, to me, that has been in office over 8 years need to go because they all stale. They don't represent your interests. And we got to stop allowing people to lie to us, especially those of us who belong to God. We see the lie. We see the lie. We see them spitting out hatred. We see them going against what you really believe. So let me tell you what's coming down the pipe that's in other states right now. Michigan. You are not allowed to use the wrong pronoun in Michigan, or you're going to become a felon in Michigan. California, if you don't come in agreement with your child on whatever they want to be, the state has the right to come in your house and take your children. In California and in Washington State, if your 12-year-old want a sex change and you don't want to do it, then they can quote unquote run away. The state will give them a place to stay, won't tell you where they at, and give them the sex change at 12 years old. At 12 years old. Those are the things that is going on. Those are the things that they're allowing to go on in other areas of this country. And what they're doing is they're now indoctrinating your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. Now they're not teaching them how to do math. In Oregon has now done away with the reading, writing, and math test that's normally required to graduate high school. And then the doggone governor had the audacity to say we're doing it for colored children, like our children can't read or do math. Or everything they do is always about black children or black people. They use us to push every doggone agenda. Every agenda. They use us to push that agenda. They use us to get things going, to vote for them. And you know what? The sad part about it is we fall right into their trap. We fall right into their trap. We just go along. We put these people in office. Your life doesn't get better. 4 years later, they come to you. And when they come to you and say, vote for me because I'm going to do A, B, and C. And then what they do is during election time, they start sprinkling crumbs, or they start paying what they call people of influence in the city to push them through the finish line during the election. Listen, Al Sharpton know that he got a lot of black followers, and he tells those that's running for president and on the Democrat side, come see me in Harlem. And when you come see me in Harlem, we're going to take a pictures, and blacks will see you with me and vote for you because they think you and I together. But you got to pay me. You got to pay me. Any pastor that support any elected officials that goes against the things of God, any pastor that supports someone that supports transgender, that supports this mess to indoctrinate our children, any pastor that supports that does not belong to God. Because I'm going to tell you what they're doing. They're committing treasoning against the government of heaven. Because why? Because what they're saying is, if they're supporting that, what they're saying is God made a mistake. God put the wrong person in the wrong body. But let me show you God didn't make a mistake. Let me show you, according to the word of God, that he didn't make a mistake. Because what we have done, we allow these people to tell us these lies, and we sit there and accept what people says. But God don't make a mistake. This is what God said to Jeremiah, right? He said this. God said this to Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. He said, I'm reading out the Amplified version. He said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew and approved of you as my chosen instrument. And before you were born, I separated you and set you apart, consecrating you, and I appointed you a prophet to the nations. God says, before I allowed your daddy to release you in your mama, I knew you. So I didn't make a mistake. And we're sitting around here and we're going along with mess, knowing it has nothing to do with God. And then we support somebody that's going against God. And then pastors are supporting those same people that's going against God. Because why? Pastors got paid the way Judas got paid. Judas was paid 30 pieces of silver to portray God. When a man of God, a woman of God who claim to be of God support a candidate that is going against God, you got paid because of your Judas to the house of God, to the ministry of God, to the work of God, to the kingdom of God. You have betrayed God and sold God out for 30 pieces of silver. God didn't make a mistake. And we're allowing them to do this mess to our children, confuse our children, and won't let them be children, won't let them dream, won't let them have a desire to be whatever God wants them to be. But no, we allow people to go in there, take our children, and tell our children that God lied, that you don't have to have an agenda. Even in the Bible, it says, and God made them male and female. That's it. Nothing else. Why are we afraid to stand up for what's right? Why are we afraid to tell our elected officials, you must be a good steward over our money? You can't keep wasting money and raising taxes, wasting money and raising taxes, wasting money and raising taxes. I sent you there to be a good steward over the money of our district and our city, but we won't say nothing to them. We won't say a word. We won't hold them accountable being good stewards. We won't hold them accountable. Stop making deals behind closed doors that's going to affect our lives. This is why Milwaukee is in the mess that it's in. This is why Milwaukee is terrible. This is why Milwaukee is messed up. How is it Milwaukee can have all the black faces in office, and the blacks are still the most suffering community in the city? How is it that you can have a black congresswoman, 2 black state senators, black state representatives, black county supervisors, black school board members, black auto persons, black mayor, black county executive, black sheriff, black police chief, black city attorney, black city treasurer, and the blacks in the community are the most suffering and in the worst condition than anybody else. Illegal aliens has more benefits than blacks do. And then they tell you, vote for me because I'm going to take care of ours. I'm going to take care of ours. We have never been at the table. We have always been on the menu. A selective few wasn't at the big table. They was at the kids' table getting fed so they can keep you down because they won't tell you the truth. And then we have all of these people that's going around. The Bible teaches us that you don't supposed to sway to the left or the right, that we're supposed to be straight dab in the middle. And you're supposed to stand there and govern the way God wants you to govern, that everybody is taken care of. Everybody must be taken care of, whether I agree with their lifestyle or not. I don't want to say if. Let me rephrase that. When I become mayor, I'm not a mayor just for black people. I'm a mayor for all people. I'm a mayor for every community. But as mayor, what I would never do is make a law that is going to be immorality. Now, the law that's making sure everybody's safe, fine, but I would never make a law that's going to compromise who I am in God or immorality. And another thing, I will never sell your trust. I would never sell your trust because I don't have to really answer to you. I have to answer to God. So that's why the Bible says, what profit a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? I'm not going to exchange my soul for money, but what I will be a mayor for all people. I will make sure every community is being taken care of. I'll make sure our children have a brighter future. I'll make sure that families get what it needs. I will make sure that this city is changed for the better. It will be a place where people will love to visit. It will be a place where people will love to raise their family. It will be a place where people will feel safe. We will prosper. The infrastructure of the city will be changed. It will be remodeled. It will be it'll be better service for every community, not just a selected group of people getting taken care of, but all people being taken care of. Why? Because when you look at Joseph, when the famine was on its way, and God gave the king a dream, and Joseph interpreted that dream, and Pharaoh said, okay, everything I own, I'm putting it in the hands of Joseph. Why? Because Joseph was the man of God, and Joseph listened to God, and not only did he save the people of, not only did he save the Egyptians, but he was also able to save the children of Israel. He was also able to save his nation at the same time. And see, same thing with Daniel. Daniel was in government, but he was loyal to God. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to go into City Hall and wave a Bible and tell people turn or burn. No, what I'm telling you is I'm going to govern with the wisdom and the principles of God so that everybody can prosper. Everybody can feel safe. Everybody can feel good. Everybody can go home and come back safe. Everybody can leave home and go to work and we don't really have to worry about nobody breaking in your house. But we have to stop doing the same thing that we always been doing. And we got to stop allowing these so-called influencers, which they're not influencers. Let me tell you what they really are. They're manipulators. And they manipulate you to go and vote a certain way. And they manipulated you year after year after year. That's why all of these people have still been in office for all these years, like they really doing something, and they ain't doing nothing because nothing is getting better. It is getting worse. Uh-oh. Hold on 1 second. I gotta plug in. I had to plug in. All right, I'm glad y'all back. I had to plug in or we would have been disconnected. So let's go back. A person of influence people based off their passion and their purpose. A person of influence have passion which produces their purpose. So they understand exactly who they are, but they also understand why they're here to do what they do. Manipulator is a person that manipulates your emotions. And what they do is they get you to get angry, or they get you to be afraid. And if you ever notice, racism at the highest rank is during election time. They push it a lot because they need you angry. And then they start to pick on certain candidates and call them racism, and they want you to be angry. And so they'll put on a cop beating up somebody, or they'll put on two blacks jumping on a white, or two whites jumping on a black, because they need you angry. So that way you will vote with your emotions because they're manipulating you, or they begin to scare you with, "Ooh, the boogeyman coming. Oh, here's this pandemic, or here this coming," and all of a sudden they get you to be afraid. So now during election time, and if you think I'm joking, just go back for a minute and look at everything that goes on during each election. And what they do, they bring fear and they bring anger. And they bring them together, and when they collide, we ain't got nothing but chaos. And then when the election is over, it seems like everything just calms down and they don't care about it no more. Look at 2020. We had COVID, and then we had what the sad thing that happened to George Floyd. So you had Black Lives Matter, everything was angry, and then you had fear, right? But watch this. But not only with Black Lives Matter, they started pushing their agenda that the Washington Redskins, it was now racist for you to call the Washington Redskins the Redskins. Really? Really? For years, we've been eating the syrup, Aunt Your Mama. But now all of a sudden, Aunt Your Mama was offensive. They was tearing down statues. They was doing things that because of anger, they allow anger and fear to hit at the same time. And they do it every election. Every single election, they want to push you on fear. They don't want you to address the real issues, what's really going on. Because if you start thinking, a lot of them wouldn't made it in the office. But because of that, they pushed us into fear. In the mayor's race, 2020, in the city of Milwaukee, 577,000 people plus, and only 91,000 voted for a mayor. 91,000 decided to put in the same mayor that put Milwaukee in the top 10 of the most poor cities in America. In 2020, they voted him back in. The same person that made Milwaukee one of the worst places for African American to raise their child, they put him back in office. The same person where the incarceration rate for black males was the highest, they put him back in office. Why? Why did they do that? Because the manipulators told them to. The manipulators, some of those manipulators was in the pulpit. The manipulators told the people to vote him back in. To vote him back in. Who destroyed our city. Who wasted money putting a little choo-choo train downtown. That don't go 2 miles? Don't go nowhere. Millions of dollars that could have went in District 9, that could have went in 53206, that could have went in 53225, that could have went in 53212 on the northern side of 53212. But no, that money didn't go there because they don't care about you. When is our eyes are going to open up to realize that these people in office doesn't care about us? These people in office doesn't care about your loved ones and your family members. These people in office doesn't care. As long as it don't hit their household, they don't care. And now they come out and they do photo ops. Now they come out and they want to take pictures like they really doing something because now it's election time and they need these 4 more years. See, these are the things that we have to address. These are the things that we need to understand and realize that we have to, hey, what's going on, man? Where you at? And these are the things that we have to address, and these are the things that we need to deal with on a daily basis in our communities. I'm a pastor in this city, and I'm tired of helping to help a family bury somebody because of something senseless. I'm tired of have to go and say, I'm sorry for your loss. Or I'm tired of talking to people that end up in prison for a very long time. And the only reason they was there because they didn't see anything else for their lives because they didn't know how to read or do math. I'm tired of we got a district attorney that don't care really about life, in the black community or in the brown community. I'm sick and tired of a district attorney that allow things to happen and nothing is said. You never hear from him. You never see him say anything. I'm tired of having a mayor that is not a leader. And he can't be a leader because he was already brought by Chris Abele. So he can't lead. He's not a leader. He's a puppet. He can't lead the city. He can't change anything. That's why he don't get on TV and speak against the injustice that's going on. He don't get on TV and speak about MPS and the education system. He don't get on TV and talk about how bad it is that our children are graduating. It ain't that there is not no jobs. They're not qualified for the jobs because they can't read or do math. They can't read a ruler. How they gonna get a job in a manufacturing company and they can't read or can't understand a ruler? But they're not saying that because here's the thing: they don't want the problem solved. Let me say this. And Brother Ian, if you want to join in and we're going to talk about Milwaukee, then I want you in. You just got to let me know because this show is invested in Milwaukee, and we're dealing with the Milwaukee issues. Milwaukee issues. So if you want to join me, just say yes, and I'll send you the link that you can join. And so I don't know who else is out there that's in the Milwaukee area or know Milwaukee, and you want to join the show. I will bring you on as well. Long as we're talking about Milwaukee, because Milwaukee, we need to wake up on a lot of things. And so when you look at it for what it really is, these people has never been for us. How is it that this city can build a house in a community, raise the taxes up because that house was built there, and then take a house for somebody who lived their whole life there, worked all hard, and they lost their house, not to mortgage, but to taxes, and nobody say nothing. Nobody saying a word. That these people who worked all it up, they are grandmothers and grandfathers, and they on a set salary, a set income, because they done with work, they can't work no more, and all of a sudden you allow them to build a new house in that neighborhood that raised the property value up, and now they lost taxes. Now they lose their house to taxes. How is it that we go on and we say this thing? How is it that we say that these people is for us? How is it that, and you can come on, let's just drill Milwaukee. Let's drill Milwaukee. Let's deal with Milwaukee. But how is it that we allow these people to stay in office, give them 4 years of your life to make decisions for your life for 4 years, your children's life for 4 years? I met a teacher and we was talking, and she loved her job where she used to love her job, she said. She has, and people know I'm a number man. I love doing numbers. I am a number man. I am all about numbers. Okay. And she was, she shared with me, she used to love her job because there was things that she can do. Now she can't do. She told me she had 27 kids. 27 kids. $15,000 a kid. 27 kids, $15,000 a kid. So this woman has $405,000 in her classroom. $405,000 in her classroom, and she got to come out of her pocket to get the stuff she needs to teach those children. Why? Why do we allow the school board to sit there? Because the school board is the one who deals with budget. The school board is the one who deals with curriculum. But we let them sit in those seats. Let them sit in those seats. County supervisors. Everybody know that we got issues. We got mental health issues. We got drug overdose issues. We have domestic violence issues. We have veterans who risk their lives so we can enjoy freedom, sleeping under the bridge issue. We have tent cities where people are suffering, ain't got nowhere to live, can't eat in the city. And let me tell you what's going to happen. Because they don't care about the people. They care about their pockets. They care about a P, but it doesn't stand for people. It stands for pockets. And so let me tell y'all a story. In 2020, when the Democrat convention was coming to Milwaukee, the Democrat convention was coming to Milwaukee. Right by the bus station, there used to be Tent City. And there used to be people living under that bridge. They used to live under the bridge. And they had tents there. And the reason I know, because we used to go by there, minister, give food, whatever. So it was Tent City, right? When they was getting ready to bring the Democrat convention, they made a law. They didn't help the people. They just made a law that it was against the law to have Tent City under the bridge. Why? Because so many people was going to come into Milwaukee from out of state, and they didn't want them to see the people that's struggling, that's living under a bridge. So they made it illegal, and they put a fence up that those people that was homeless couldn't go there. That's all they did. They didn't help these people. And now there's another, I'm not going to say where it's at because I don't want them to get ran off, but there's another area where people are homeless. You think they're getting help? No, because of the fact that if you start solving problems, a lot of these people is going to lose a job. If you start holding people accountable, a lot of these people will lose their jobs. So they do not want you to fix the problem. They do not want you to solve it. They do not want you to even come up with an answer. They don't want that, because if you do, a lot of them will be unemployed. So they don't want it solved. But because we are problem solvers, God put all of us on earth to solve a problem. So because we are problem solvers, we're supposed to be solving these problems. That's what we're supposed to be doing. But what do? We allow them. Who is them? Our elected officials, not to represent us, to do the things that we need done. That's who is them. And they're going to go get people that are not influencers, but they're manipulators. And they try to manipulate you. I had a pastor one time. We was talking. And he said to me who he was voting for. And I said, this person is pushing the Equality Act. Do you know what that means? And he was like, yeah, I do. I said, no, you don't. Because the Equality Act is going to allow a man who feels like he's a woman to go in the bathroom with your grandchild. So you're going to support somebody that support this. He was like, well, our job is just to pray for him. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Would you fellowship with a pastor that you know is gay? He said, what? I said, would you fellowship with a pastor that you know is gay? He said, no, I won't fellowship with a pastor that I know is gay. I said, why not? He said, because that don't supposed to be. And it's not my job to fellowship with a pastor that is gay. I said, oh, so you won't fellowship with a pastor that is gay, but you will support a man that is pushing an agenda that's also in the gay community or the gay category about being a transgender, but you'll support him. My job is only to pray. No, it's not. You either stand for what's right or you don't. It is nothing in between. So if I know this man is supporting transgender, that they're pushing on the children, why would I support him? Why would I support a mayor who had transgender day? Why would I support a county executive that had transgender day? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? And why would I give them 4 more years to make laws that's going to go against me and what I stand for? Why would we give people 4 more years to make a law that's going to go against what I believe, what I was raised to believe? And I'm not even talking about in church, what I was raised to believe. The morals that my father and my mother installed in me, I'm going to vote somebody in office that's going to go against my morals, my principles. I'm going to put you in office and give you 4 more years to oppress me, to give you 4 more years to tax me, to give you 4 more years to destroy my business. I'm going to give you 4 years to do that. I'm going to give you 4 more years. Never will I give you 4 more years. And that's what's going to happen in 2024. If you allow these people to stay in office that is already there, every county supervisor that voted for Milwaukee County to be a transgender sanctuary, all need to be gone. Every last one of them. They need to be fired. And you, their boss, you need to fire them all. Don't give them no more years to continue to destroy what family really is, to destroy our moral compass, to destroy our children. And that's what they're doing. We cannot give, listen, the 9th district asked the mayor and the county and the common council, do not vote to put a youth detention center in our district until we get representation. This is what they asked them. They say, do not allow them to vote on this until we get representation. And the mayor might as well just say, screw you. They voted, he signed it because he did not care about the people in the 9th district. He didn't care about you. And anybody that tell you he does, tell him to show you the evidence. And if any pastor says it, tell those pastors to prove it by what he's done for us, not what he done for you, not what he done in your pocket. Matter of fact, the sad part about it is this. Watch this. We just had pastors. I believe it was last year. We just had pastors crying, complaining about their church buildings being taken. It was called I believe they called it tax and take. We had church pastors on TV talking about how the city, the mayor, them was taking their property. Those same pastors that was complaining about tax and take are now taking pictures with the mayor talking about, oh, we're about to do something great. Really? Come on. The Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. How is it a year ago you complaining about them taking your building and now you supporting them? How is it? How is it that we allow these things to take place and we don't say nothing? Nothing. Milwaukee, we got to wake up. If you don't wake up for yourself, wake up for your children and your grandchildren. Because even the pedophiles are on the loose. In a minute, they already made it a sanctuary. They already made it a sanctuary for transgender and non-binary. Next, they're gonna make it a sanctuary for MAP. What is MAP? For those who don't know, MAP stands for minor attractive person. Minor attractive person. Those are pedophiles. That's their new name. That's what they're going under. That's the movement that they are doing. It is called MAP. Minor attractive person, and they're coming for your babies. Open your eyes, Milwaukee. Open your ears. Remove the emotion out of the way. No longer allow them to manipulate you off of your feelings. Off of your feelings. But move by purpose and passion. And become part of the solution and not staying part of the problem. Because if you don't say nothing, you're part of the problem. And I said it once, and I said it again. If you're a grown person, you're over the age of 18, and you're grown, what you do in your bedroom is not my business. But when you come after the children, starting at the age of K3, K4, that's my business. They don't know how to defend themselves. Somebody got to stand up for them. They don't know how to fight. They can't comprehend what's really going on. Our babies is my business. What an individual do, that's between you and God. I have nothing to say about that. But when you push it on our children, then I got something to say. I got a lot to say. I'm not trying to tell a grown person how to live. That's between you and God. My job is not to judge you. My job is to love you. My job is not to condemn you. My job is to help you. But when you come after the children, the way y'all coming at them, and the way y'all confusing them and telling them you can even be a cat, and you putting litter boxes in the schools, and you got pornography in the library, in the books, and it's and dealing with our children, I have a problem. Even Disney teaching our kids it's okay for the same sex to kiss now. Even our children, even Disney, you got to screen the Disney movie now before you can even let the kids watch it. When did we have to screen cartoons? Because that's how they're trying to indoctrinate. We have to protect our babies. We have to let our young people know that you can be whatever you want to be. And the only thing that's stopping you from your destiny is you. You ain't got to listen to the lie. Stay focused and go for what you want. But what we have done is allow these people to make us operate to understand what they're doing to us in the city. Why they making people in Milwaukee hate Milwaukee? Why you hating Milwaukee, can't stand Milwaukee and packing up? There's other people coming in and buying up. There's an island in the Bahamas. They used to call it Trash Island. That's where they used to put all their garbage and everything. And a man went up to them and he brought Trash Island and he cleaned it off and he put a hotel on it and he called it Paradise Island. When you don't know the value of what you have, people that's coming in do. You have a city on a great lake. Milwaukee is a beautiful place. And with the right people in office, it's a great place to raise your family. With the right person steering and can hear from God and make the right decision using the wisdom of God, Milwaukee is one of the beautifulest places to ever be. And I believe people will come back home with the right leadership in the city of Milwaukee. But with what we got right now, you give them 4 more years. You give them 4 more years. And you will be in trouble. I will be in trouble. And we have to understand and realize this. Doing the right thing is not popular. It's not popular at all. One of the persons that inspired me to do the right thing is this gentleman right here. His name is Robert J. Brown. Robert J. Brown. The name of his book is called You Can't Go Wrong Doing Right. You can't go wrong by doing right. How a child of poverty rose to the White House and helped change the world. Robert Brown. I advise you to get this book. Just read the book. It's on Audible. Also, Robert J. Brown. It inspired me to continue to be me and continue to stand for what's right. Some people say, well, you ran for so many offices. So did Abraham Lincoln. He ran many times until he won. Why? Because it wasn't about Abraham Lincoln. It was about winning and changing and being effective in the world. It's not about me. It's about the people in the city of Milwaukee and me help changing and making it different and better for each and every one of their lives. That's why I do it. And if you ever followed me from one campaign to the next, I never change. I'm consistent on being me. I would never change. I would never sell out. I would never bow down. I would never sell your trust. The only person that owns me is God. I'm sold out to God. That's it. Milwaukee, we got to do better. Milwaukee, we got to make up our mind what we want to do. Now, those of you that's outside of Milwaukee, you got to understand, if Milwaukee don't get better, people are going to come into your area. People are going to come and live where you live. If Milwaukee don't get better, they're coming to the outskirts because they want to live a life, a safe life. They want to raise their children in a better environment. So they're going to come. But if we get a better mayor, they'll stay right here. And you guys can help. And this is how you can help. Go to my website, kingformayor.net. It's on the screen, kingformayor.net, and just donate $24. We're asking 10,000 people to donate $24. We want this to be a people's campaign. We want this to be the people movement, not anybody else movement, but the people. And all you have to do is go online and says, I want to be a part of the movement, and donate $24 because we have a purpose for Milwaukee. And that is to have one mind, one goal, one purpose, to make Milwaukee a safe and prosperous home for us all. It's about all of us. It's about all of us. It's not about a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party. It's about the people. And once we go back to being people-driven instead of party-driven, we can see stuff get done. We will see changes in the city. And you also have to understand and realize you will see changes in the first 90 days of my mayorship. You will see things change in the first 90 days. You probably say, well, you don't, excuse me, you don't know how to be a mayor. Let me help you out with that. Hold on. The city is a business. The mayor is the CEO. The city provides services to the people in Milwaukee. I've been a CEO. I managed $1 million companies. My job was to go in and fix them. I worked it for big companies. And I did my job, and I was good at fixing things. As CEO, I will make sure the service is better for everybody. I will make sure that everything that the city is supposed to do for the people get done. And if anybody hinder or don't want to participate in making Milwaukee better, I will let you know right on Front Street. I tell you who it is. I tell you why they don't want it done. I will make sure I would do a district meeting every year. I will make sure each district I will have a meeting in to talk about the decision, where we're going, what are you guys are looking for. It will not be a lying session, but it will actually be a listening session where I'll be listening to you, and then you can grade me on the things that you say you want done, and I do them. Then you can give me my grade. He's told us, we told him we need this done. He got it done. We told him we need that done. He got it done. He told us he was going to do this, and he did it, and he done it. That's the type of person you need. You need a mayor that is willing to be a servant. You need order persons that are willing to be servants. You need county supervisors that are willing to be servants. You need county executives that are willing to be a servant, because that's what they signed up for, to be a servant to the people. The Bible always says, any among you want to be great, let him become a servant. Let him serve his brethren. This is what we got to do. But we can't afford to give up 4 years. They're going to lie to you and say, well, I was going to do this, I was going to do that, but the Republicans wouldn't let me do that, or the Republicans wouldn't let me do that. That's a bald-faced lie, people. If the Republicans was any control of Milwaukee County or the city of Milwaukee, would Milwaukee County today be a sanctuary for transgender? If the Republicans was going to stop them, then why didn't they stop them from making this a sanctuary? Because they don't have control over this. The people in office has control. When you look at the tax that is being raised because they messed up their own pension. Did the Republican mess up their pension, or did they mess up their pension? All you have to do is look it up. That's all you got to do is look it up for yourself and ask a question. Start asking the question. Why are we in this hole? Why do Milwaukee look this bad? How is it that we have all of these people in office and nothing is getting done? Why can't we do something different to make crime better, to stop crime? Why can't we? See, we got to start asking those questions. You told me you was going in office to represent us. Why haven't the potholes been fixed yet? You told me you was going in to represent us. Why our snow don't get plowed like it's supposed to? You told me you was going in to represent us. Why are we getting more tickets on the north side for parking than anywhere else? Why our cars are being towed? Why our garbage is not being picked up? Why abandoned houses on our block and then boarded up and you ain't done nothing? If you telling me you there for us, why? Why haven't you done your job? Why didn't you stand up for the church when they told us to shut down the churches? Why did you listen to them without doing research so you can come and tell us the truth? We sent you there to represent us. We got to ask questions. Because they really don't have a real answer. They can lie to you, but they ain't got no real answers. Because they're not trying to have answers. Their job is to push somebody else's agenda that's in their pocket. Nobody. I am in nobody's pocket, and nobody's in my pocket. This is why we're doing the campaign the way we're doing it. And we, as a people, as a community, we have to rise up. So it doesn't matter what part of the state or the nation you are in. $24. That's all we asking. And I'm sure, and I'm challenging everyone that's watching or is going to watch to just get 5 people you know to donate $24. Just get 5. Whether they're in state, out of state. Say, I need you to join me, $25. That's all it takes to make Milwaukee better. We don't need $1 million to win a campaign. We saw that in New Jersey. He didn't use $1 million. I believe he spent $300? Maybe $2,500, one of those numbers. I'm lost with that number right now. So it doesn't take millions of dollars to win the race. It's just take people whose mind is made up, whose mind is ready for change. And I'm not talking about the change that Obama talks about. I'm talking about taking us back to where it used to be. Going back to the norm, the real norm, not this new norm, but the real norm, going back to it. where neighbors will be neighbors again, that the churches will become the pillar of the community with the assistance of the state or of the city, because there is no such thing as separation in church and state. We're supposed to work hand in hand to make our city better. They lied to you, separation of church and state. No, hand in hand, together. We're a community. So the faith base, whether you are in the church, in the mosque, wherever you at, it's a community thing. It takes all of us. It takes each and every one of us to come together and address things face on, roll up our sleeves, and ready to rebuild the torn down walls of our community, because the walls are torn down. The walls of being a neighbor is torn down. We got to build that back up. We don't check on our neighbors. We don't ask each other how we're doing. I try to be a great neighbor. When it's snowing outside, not only do I shovel mine, but I'll shovel my neighbor's snow. And then sometimes when I wake up, they done shoveled mine. It's about being neighbors, looking out for one another, helping one another, supporting one another. Takes a village to raise a child. We got to go back to that. But it won't happen if we continue to sit down and do nothing. If we continue to let them lie to us. If we continue to allow them to destroy the education to the fact where our kids are going to be just totally depending on government because they can't do anything for themselves. If we don't get our kids to go back to critical thinking, to making decisions, to understand the difference between right and wrong, not to understand the difference between good and evil, not calling evil good and good evil, but letting them know the real truth. The church doors need to be open 5 days a week in communities so that people in that community can go to that church and get help, no matter what that help is. We have to become hungry enough to want something different. And it takes all of us, every last one of us. And we can do it. Not listening to the lies. It's not about being a black first, second black mayor or anything like that. Color ain't got nothing to do with it. Martin Luther King said it, that there should be a time where a man is not judged by his color of his skin, but the content of his character. It's about having character, integrity. It's about being there for people and not yourself. See, most people got into politics for themselves, not the people. They knew the money they can make. They knew the power they wanted. They never wanted to empower you. That's why they keep stuff away from you. That's why they don't let you know certain things. But I challenge us to stand up, ask questions, do what's right, believe, value, trust. Five months to make this a better place. Five months. And you're going to see manipulators get out here and tell you to vote for them same people that's in office that cannot come up with a solution to anything that is going on. Just give you excuses or I don't have an answer. And they still blaming COVID on why stuff is messed up. But if you go to your job and try to blame COVID for why you ain't where you ought to be or your performance is not where it ought to be, see if you keep that job. They will fire you. And it's time for us to fire them. Just like in basketball, when the Bucks lost the first round, what was the first thing they said? Fire the coach. Why? Because the coach is the head. Everything starts from the head down. Fire the coach. They did. Football. Teams ain't doing good, they fire the coach. Baseball season just got over. Watch what you find out in the news while the playoff going on. So-and-so have left their general manager go. So-and-so have left their general manager go. So-and-so. Why? Because they didn't do the job in the way that they wanted it done. They wanted a winning team. They didn't produce. They fired. We wanted a better Milwaukee, a safer Milwaukee, a prosperous Milwaukee. We didn't get it. So every last one of them need to be fired. And I know you're going to say, well, he was only mayor for 2 years. Yes, but don't forget, he was also common council president, and he was also an alderperson of a district. So he's been there just as long as anybody else, and he has been a part of the problem just like everybody else. Just like everybody else. And it's up to us now to make a decision. So we all plays a part of what happens in the next 4 years. As I close this section out, on the news, they had 2 gay pastors talking about the Milwaukee County being a sanctuary. And they said something very key that I bet a lot of us didn't pick up. Go back and listen to it. It's on Channel 4. And they said, this is only step 1. We done made it a sanctuary. So this is step 1. What do step 2, step 3, step 4 look like? Now, when they came around, watch this. I'm trying to close this out, but watch this. They knew they was going to raise sale tax. City did. They already knew, and the county already knew. So they both had listen sessions on the sale tax. If you was going to make Milwaukee County a sanctuary, why didn't you have listening sessions on the sanctuary? Why didn't you respect the people enough to hold a hearing and a listening session on should we make Milwaukee County a sanctuary? Why didn't you do that? You had those lying listening sessions like you really care about taxes, but you already knew you was going to raise those taxes, but you didn't have a listening session on the sanctuary. Why not? Why didn't you go around? Why didn't you go down to Clinton Rose, the King Center, Kosciuszko? Why didn't you go around the city with your listening session to say, should we make Milwaukee County a transgender sanctuary? Why didn't you do that? Because you already knew. So what you did was disrespect the people. You didn't value us. You didn't respect us. You didn't do anything anything in regards to what do the people think. We your boss, and you didn't come to us to ask us what we think. This is what they're doing. You really want to give them 4 more years? You really want them to have their way? Making decisions without even pushing. Their job is to represent us. That's what their job is to represent us. But they didn't represent us. They represent themselves and their pockets. Now it's time to fire. They didn't go do what we sent them to do. And now it's time to let them go. Everybody, this is Dr. David D. King with Vested in Milwaukee. And until next time, I want to say God bless you. And think about what they're doing to us. Goodbye.